afternoon. Hello, my name is Erica Durr. I am a nursing student at McKendree College, and I am doing a presentation today on ways to keep your baby safe while they're sleeping, safe sleep practices. I'm working on obtaining my bachelor's degree at McKendree University. I have been a registered nurse for over 20 years, and most of the time that I've been nursing, I've been in intensive care. Although most of my career has been in critical care medicine, I've always had a heart for mothers and babies. I became a mother at an early age. I became a mom when I was 17, so to me it feels like I've always been a mom. I love being a mom, and motherhood has undoubtedly been my most important job. The purpose of my presentation is to provide parents, family members, and caregivers with information on steps that they can take to keep a safe sleep area for babies. These steps will reduce the risks of sleep-related infant deaths, including sudden infant death syndrome, also known as SIDS. Everyday knowledge is gained. We often learn truths from the past were not correct. For example, many people used to smoke. Many pregnant women used to smoke. This was a normal thing, but now we know better. Now we know that smoking is harmful, especially to fetuses. The same is true for infant sleep. Extensive research has proven that there are steps you can take that will help keep babies safe while they sleep and reduce the risk of sleep-related infant deaths. Since infant sleep-related deaths are the leading cause of death in infants between 1 month and 1 year of age, I really want us all to learn information about safe sleep. Learning this information will not only keep the babies that you care for safe, but it'll also give you accurate information, so if somebody asks you a question, you'll have current and correct information. This will keep other babies safe too. Studies now show that many infant sleep-related deaths are caused by accidental suffocation. Accidents are preventable, so many of these deaths can be prevented. Now we will have the knowledge to help. I have 3 goals set for us that I hope that we all learn from this presentation. 1, by the end of this presentation, I want everyone here to have learned at least one new thing about safe sleep for babies that you did not already know. 2, by the end of this presentation, I want you to be able to look at a sleep area for a baby and be able to identify what is safe and unsafe. And 3, by the end of this presentation, I want you to be able to tell me 2 things that you can do that will help keep a baby safe when they are put down to sleep. So, what can we do to help protect babies? There are 10 different things that I'm going to talk to you about. 1, always place babies on their back to sleep. 2, place baby on a firm sleep surface like a safety-approved mattress covered with a tight sheet. 3, keep loose bedding, stuffed animals, and toys out of your baby's sleep area. 4, do not allow smoking around your baby. 5, keep the baby's sleep area close but separate from where you and others sleep. 6, think about giving baby a clean, dry pacifier at sleep time. 7, do not let the baby overheat during sleep. 8, avoid products that are not consistent with safe sleep practices. 9, do not use home monitors to reduce the risk of SIDS or other sleep-related infant deaths. And 10, provide supervised tummy time. Okay, let's talk about each one of these individually. First, always place the baby on their back to sleep. Remember, back is best. Every sleep time counts. That includes naps as well as nighttime sleeping. Babies can and do sleep comfortably on their back, especially when it started at an early age. Always place the baby on the back to sleep until age 1 year old. If the baby can roll over well, you do not have to reposition the baby if they turn while they're sleeping, but remember to always place the baby on their back every time you put the baby down to sleep. Babies have a very different sleep cycle than adults. It is very normal for a baby to only sleep 3 or 4 hours. So, about 1 in 5 SIDS deaths occur when the baby is in the care of someone else. Often, the caregiver has placed the baby on the stomach to sleep. When a baby normally sleeps on their back and then is placed on their stomach, this increases the baby's risk of sleep-related death by 18 times. That's why it's very important for us to share our knowledge about safe sleep to anybody who cares for a baby. I know you may be thinking, well, my mom, my grandma, my friend, they all put their baby on their stomach to sleep and they're just fine. Well, you'll probably think that several times through this entire presentation because things have changed. And all I can say to that is you do your best until you know better. And then when you know better, you do better. Another question you may have is, won't my baby choke when they're sleeping on their back? Well, on the pamphlets that I gave you on the second page there's a picture that shows you why the answer to that question is no. When a baby is placed on their back, the esophagus is below the trachea. If baby spits up, the spit up will come out of the baby's mouth. Any spit up left in the baby's mouth will go down the esophagus by force of gravity. The spit up will be swallowed and not go into the baby's lungs. Remember that coughing is not the same as choking. Babies cough to clear their airway. It is a reflex that healthy babies do, just like adults. In contrast, when your baby is placed on their stomach, the trachea is below the esophagus. If the baby spits up, the spit up goes into the trachea, causing liquid content to get into the lungs. This is called aspiration, and something that we obviously do not want. The second thing to do to keep a baby's sleep time safe is to place the baby on a firm sleep surface, like a safety-approved mattress covered with a tight-fitting sheet. Never place the baby on pillows, quilts, sheepskins, or other soft surfaces. So I know that when I was pregnant with Alyssa, it was all the rage to place the babies on a sheepskin. They said that's what we should do, that they were so good and helped the baby sleep. I never got one because they were expensive, but that just shows you how over time things definitely change. Babies who sleep on soft bedding are more likely to die of SIDS or suffocate. Number 3, keep loose bedding, stuffed animals, or toys out of the baby's sleep area. Do not use pillows, quilts, or blankets. Do not use bumper pads. A bumper pad is not necessary because new crib standards require that the slats are closer together. This prevents head entrapment. They also have firm bumper pads now instead of just the soft bumper pads, and those are not safe either. A firm bumper pad is just as dangerous as a soft. The baby's head can get trapped between the crib or the mattress and the firm pad, causing entrapment or suffocation. On your handouts that I gave you, there's a picture of the crib and the slats and the appropriate distance that the slats should be apart. And if you can not get a soda can, which is easier for me to remember than remembering the actual distance, just a regular size soda can between the slats, then that is a safe distance for the slats on the crib to be apart. If you're worried about the baby's leg getting caught between the crib slats, the best solution is to place the baby in a wearable blanket. Decorate the baby's room, not the baby's sleep area. Number 4, do not allow smoking around the baby. Do not smoke during your pregnancy or after. Do not allow people to smoke around your baby. If someone must smoke, do it away from the baby, and ideally have them change their clothes or at least their shirt before holding the baby. Some babies are very sensitive to smoke, and it can actually cause some respiratory issues with them if somebody has smoke on their clothing. If a baby is exposed passively to smoke in the home, it actually doubles their risk of SIDS. So, no smoking. Number 5, keep a baby's sleep area close to but separate from where you and others sleep. The baby should never sleep in a bed, on a couch, in a chair, or any other sleeping area with an adult, another child, or a pet. Baby should sleep in the same room as you, but in a separate bed than you. If you bring your baby into bed to breastfeed, put the baby back into the crib or the bassinet or the pack and play when you are done feeding. You cannot control fatigue. It's going to happen. That's what makes room sharing the safest alternative. I'd like to discuss a little more of the dangers of co-sleeping because it is very tempting when you're tired. It is dangerous for a baby to sleep in an adult bed because the baby can become trapped or wedged between the wall and the bed. Soft mattresses, loose sheets, and pillows are dangerous for suffocation. If a baby is sleeping with an adult or another child, that person can accidentally roll over onto the baby, resulting in suffocation. Half of the infants in the United States who died of sleep-related deaths were found co-sleeping. Number 6, think about giving the baby a clean, dry pacifier at sleep time. Pacifiers have been shown to protect against SIDS. Researchers actually do not know why or how it works, but multiple studies have found the same result. If you offer your baby a pacifier, do not force it to take the pacifier. If you are breastfeeding, you should wait 3 to 4 weeks or until the breastfeeding is established before offering a pacifier, and never coat the pacifier with a sweet liquid. This can lead to cavities when the baby's teeth come in. Number 7, do not let your baby overheat. Dress your baby in lightweight sleeping clothes such as a sleep sack or other wearable blanket. It is no longer recommended to tuck the babies in with a blanket. The blankets can come up and cover the baby's face, causing suffocation. If you feel like your baby is cold, just put an additional layer on the baby. Keep the room at a temperature that's comfortable for an adult, and avoid over-bundling the baby. I'm going to take just a minute to talk about swaddling. Swaddling actually has not been shown to reduce the risk of SIDS. Swaddling is useful for calming a fussy baby. Swaddling must be done correctly to avoid possible hazards. These hazards include overheating, the baby's face getting covered, or abnormal hip development. If you swaddle, use a lightweight blanket. Make sure the blanket is away from the baby's head, and the swaddle blanket should be no higher than the baby's shoulders. When the baby starts to roll over, stop swaddling. Do not swaddle anymore after the baby can roll over. Number 8, avoid products that are not consistent with safe sleep practices. Most of these products have not been safety tested. Positioners have not been shown to be effective against SIDS, suffocation, or reflux. Positioners and wedges can cause suffocation or entrapment. Number 9, do not use home monitors to reduce the risk of SIDS or other sleep-related infant deaths. Really, the main point of number 9 is that monitors are exactly that. They're monitors. They help you listen for your baby. If there's a camera monitor, it helps you see the baby, but they do not reduce the risk of SIDS or sleep-related deaths. And number 10, provide tummy time. Tummy time is when you place the baby on their stomach when they are awake and someone is watching them. Tummy time helps baby's head, neck, and muscles get stronger. Tummy time does not have to be on the floor. Holding and playing with the baby counts too. Tummy time can reduce the likelihood of flat or bald spots developing on the baby's head. Normally, if any flat spots do develop, they'll go away in a few months when the baby learns to sit up. I'm going to end this presentation with a few facts about placing their babies on the back to sleep. In 1992, the American Academy of Pediatrics recommended that infants be placed on their back to sleep. In 1994, there was a nationwide back to sleep campaign. The number of sleep-related deaths went from 8,000 a year to 3,500. Healthy People is a division of the United States Department of Health and Human Services that focuses on improving community health. Healthy People 2030 has set an objective to increase the portion of infants who are put on their backs to sleep. At baseline, 78.7% of infants born in 2016 were placed on their backs. The target set by Healthy People 2030, which was set this year, goes in 10-year increments, is Healthy People 2020, now Healthy People 2030, is to increase that rate from 78.7 to 88.9. The target for putting babies on their back to sleep for Healthy People 2020 was at 75.8 was their goal. So their goal has actually been met and exceeded since the baseline right now is 78.7. So putting babies on their back to sleep is helping save babies' lives. But with over 3,500 babies in the US still dying each year from sleep-related deaths, there's still work to be done. The very last page of the handout that I gave you has the websites that I use for this presentation, and they all have great information about safe sleep environments for babies, the National Institution of Health, the CDC, or the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, and Cribs for Kids. Thank you for your time. Any questions? We have to do a question and answer. Yes?
I have seen, I used to swaddle with a blanket, but I've seen swaddle things that you kind of have clasps or snaps. Are those better than old school burritoing your baby with a blanket?
Yeah, well, now they have ones that they just are like a sleep blanket is what they call them. And so instead of putting a blanket over the baby, it's just a heavier material. And it's pretty much just like one piece. I thought maybe she might get one today, but she didn't. And it's just like a one-piece sleeper, just like a regular sleeper, but it's a bag on the bottom and it's a little heavier material. They have heavy ones and light ones. They have ones where the arms can be out, all the way out,
Wow.
or outlined, like a snow angel almost. And they also have ones for when they're little before they can roll over that actually help put the arms in, which would be like when you burrito them, you know, it kind of mimics that. Those are, you know, only to be used though until they can start to roll over. So it's all different.
That was a new product. I was like, what is
Yeah,
this?
brand new products. Any other questions?
When you say comfortable for adults, what temperature range are you talking?
I knew somebody would ask me that, and I do not have an actual, I didn't find an actual set temperature that you should put the baby's room at, but I think what people tend to do is overdress babies because they think they're, you know, delicate, not to say they're not, but they overdress them. And when they start to get hot, they're going to show the same symptoms as you would if you were to start to get hot. They're going to glisten, be a little sweaty, red-cheeked, sweat behind the neck. So those are all things that you could check for. And if the baby was, you know, resting and getting sweaty like that, you've probably just got an extra layer. You probably need to either turn the temperature down in the room or not have so many layers on the baby.
Okay, there's a huge debate raged at my work last week about what's a good temperature, and some were all for 68 and others were like 78, so.
I was gonna call him 68.
Yeah, so really then you would just go by the, you know, watching your baby, seeing if they were getting sweaty, that kind of thing. So I feel like some people, obviously some people run a little hotter than others. So feel your baby's extremities. If they're cool, add another layer. They're getting a little chilly, but if they're getting sweaty and red, that being too warm when they sleep is actually a sleep hazard. So, all right, anybody else? Okay, thank you.